Now we've got our character waving, our next step will be to get this guy doing that kind of banging drums or angry or excited type of arm bashing type of movement. For that, what we need to do is come up to costumes, and we're going to duplicate costume 2, remembering that the duplicated version comes right in underneath. Now we don't want this to be in our loop for the wave, so I'm bringing it right down to the bottom here. I might need to scroll down a bit. 6, oh, they're the same anyway, okay, so it doesn't matter, but I want the one that's called 7. You see, once I named it 1, the first one, Scratch has automatically renamed them all to the right number. So it's in order 7 and it's called number 7. Now here's where we're going to flip it. So I want to get, let's use the select tool and flip vertically, and watching on my stage to see where that arm should sit, and I'm going to do the opposite here. So I want this arm to be up and that arm to be down. Okay, so if we go from 6 to 7, we get this really cool flipping of the two arms going over like this. And let's code it then. For this code, let's zoom out a touch. We're basically making a switch. Now this is a really useful thing to know how to do, is when one thing happens, if it's A, make it B. If it's B, make it A. So for example, if it's on, turn it off. If it's off, turn it on. I'm sure we've all seen a switch like that. There's one switch that turns something on and off. And so for that code, we're going to use the A key. The letter A, just because it's nice and near the top there and easy to find on the keyboard. And we're going to use if, but not in a loop this time. We want this to check what's happening every time we press it. We don't want it to happen again and again. So for example, I'm going to say, and I want some operators so I can do a bit of logic here. Say if something is equal to, let's say if it's costume 7, we're going to switch between costume 7 and costume 6, which is the same as 2. Am I right? Yeah. So let's keep it at the end there. Let's see how this works out. So if costume number, coming down here, costume number equals 7, what do we want to do? Well, let's switch to costume, and we need to use a specific costume here. We can't do next costume. Switch to costume 6. So if it's 7, switch to 6. Otherwise, must be 6. So switch to 7. Let's try that. So let's see if that makes sense to everybody. So if we're on 7, we're going to switch to 6. If not, we're going to switch to 7. And then when we press it again, we'll switch to 6. Okay, take a minute to just take that in. If we're on costume 7, which is this one, then when we press the A key, we'll switch there. Let's say we were on 3, we'll switch to 7, and when we press it again, we'll switch to 6, and press it again, switch to 7, and we'll get into our kind of cycle like that way. Let's give it a test. Hit the green flag. I'm going to press A. I go to 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6. If I press the space key, does it still work? I give a little wave. 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6. I'm swapping between. I'm pressing the A key. And then my character will come up and give a nice wave every time I press it. Perfect.